One other thing to mention, if you do want to ask any questions, you should have a chat window. Just ask a question in that chat window, type away, and towards the end of the session, I will look towards answering those questions and come back. So first thing I want to show you is we're going to have a little bit of a look at some presenter tricks. So whilst I've actually got a presentation open, the one that I've just actually been talking you through, we'll use this to look at the presentation tricks. Now, first little presentation trick is if you hold your control key down on your keyboard and then press your left mouse button while you're presenting, can you see there is almost like a fake laser pointer? So sometimes it can be quite tough to see the arrow, okay, when you're actually on a presentation, whereas if you hold the control key down, it will show you this laser pointing, and there's a little bit more contrast and you can see it a little bit better and highlight things without the need to sort of use a laser pointer. Okay, another thing which can be really quite good while you're delivering a presentation is sometimes we might have something on the screen which is, shall we say, quite eye-catching, so there's a lot of things going on. And if this is a face-to-face presentation, you don't want people being able to actually, having to look at your screen. You want them to kind of pay attention to you. So you want to take focus away from what's on the screen so they're looking at you. So a little bit like, look at my eyes, not around my eyes. Now, if I press B on my keyboard, it will turn the screen black. If I press B on the keyboard, it will bring the screen back. Or if I press W on my keyboard, it will turn the screen white. Or if I press W on the keyboard, it will bring that screen back. So it's just a really simple way of kind of taking the attendees' attention away from what's on the screen, and we're just focusing on the actual presenter, okay, without having to come out of the PowerPoint presentation. This also has the advantage if you are using timings in your presentation. So, unlike me, I'm a bit ad hoc and I sort of go with the flow, but if you're very, structured and a slide is 10 seconds or a minute and someone asks you a question, well, when you press B on your keyboard, it makes the screen black, but it will also pause those timings so that you can answer the question, deal with whatever it is that your audience needs to, talk about with you, but your timings stay where they were. So then once you press B or W again, you can then carry back on with your presentation nice and easily. So a couple of very simple things so far while you're presenting that can make it a little bit easier for, I suppose, effectively audience management. Another thing which can be very good, let's talk about when an audience member asks a question. Very, very simple thing, this. So I've got a slide here talking about the content of the day, but I might get a question about, someone might say to me, well, what else can you do? How else can you help us? I know I've got a slide somewhere else in that presentation, so I want to jump straight to that slide. So idea of this is, instead of having to, click, click, click all the way through your presentation to get to that particular slide, if you right-click anywhere on the PowerPoint presentation, can you see here, we've got one here called Go to Slide. Very, very simple idea. Can you see it lists all of the slides? So, I mean, I've only got 3 slides into this particular presentation, but, if it was 50 slides, you'd get the list of all of your slides, and you come along and just literally click onto the slide you want to go to, and it will jump to it. And then if you want to then go back to the slide that you were previously on, if you then right-click, can you see there, last viewed, it will then jump you straight back to that particular slide that you're on previously. So you can jump around very quickly within your presentation and sort of answer little tidbits while you're actually talking to your audience very quickly and easily without having to give the game away by clicking through your entire presentation to get to that particular item. Okay, one last little presentation trick I want to share with you, and that there are many other little tricks we can talk about in PowerPoint, but I want to keep this nice and tight so I can move on and show you something else, is that quite a lot of people will see a presentation as something that a presenter is delivering to an audience, and sometimes the interaction might be a bit of a tough thing to get into a presentation. Well, in PowerPoint, very little used option is if we go down towards the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, we have a set of buttons in here, and one of these buttons is like a little pen. You can also get this from the right click and by going to pointer options, and can you see pen or highlighter here? Now once we highlight, so click onto the pen or the highlighter here, the mouse, can you see, changes, so it's like a little dot now. So the idea of this is if I now click and drag around my screen, can you see I can now draw directly onto my screen. Now as you can see from what I'm trying to draw now, that you know, you're not going to draw anything particularly amazing with this, and anything that I draw looks like I've, you know, come from the nursery and drawn it. But the idea of this is it enables you to kind of highlight things, and now with cordless mice being a lot cheaper than what they were, you could effectively put the pen on and pass your mouse around and get people to highlight certain areas of the presentation. If you want to stop drawing, press escape on the keyboard and it turns back into a normal mouse pointer. Now if I click through, it could be the case of you want to get people to effectively highlight all of the areas that they would need help with. Can you see during the presentation? Gives a little bit more interaction to whatever presentation you're currently delivering. Aside from being able to draw, if I go to the pointer options, can you see I've got one there for eraser, and erase all ink on slide. So eraser will allow you to, can you see, get rid of individual items, or if I right click again and go to pointer options, if I then go to erase all ink on slide, can you see that will remove it. You also, if you want to share this task between more than one person, again in the pointer options we've got ink color, so I can choose, you know, different color for different people's point of view. So rather than me having to sort of remember who it was that made that particular mark, we can effectively color code it and see you know, the difference of opinion with, you know, whatever annotation's been made. Now I'm going to move away from the presenter tricks and we're going to have a little bit of a look at file formats in a moment. But one thing to note, if you watch this now, if I now come out of my presentation and I'm just going to press escape on my keyboard, okay, because I've drawn on my presentation using the pen, can you see here it says, do you want to keep your ink annotations? If I click discard, they will disappear. If I click keep, what it will then do, this is the presentation we've just been looking at, can you see it actually adds the ink annotation as like a drawing item into the slide itself. Now this can be a bit of a pain if you don't realize what it's doing, but it's very easy to get rid of. Look, we just click onto it, delete on our keyboard. Can you see that will remove it for us? But this can also be something that's quite a blessing, because you know what I tend to find when I'm doing any kind of training session, I find new things out, because you know every day's a school day, so someone might have a different point of view that you've not considered, and their ink annotation, what they've put on your slide, might help you improve what you're, you know, going to deliver in the future. So it can be a really good thing keeping those annotations. So look, there's a few little presenter tricks. We've got the laser pointer, we've got the ability to make the screen black or white, we can draw on the screen, and we can jump around the presentation. Now don't forget, I will put a recording of this up on YouTube, and I will also send you a little sheet, a little cheat sheet with all of the details of this in as well. Right, so next thing I want to talk to you about, we're going to have a look a little bit of, shall we say, a sucking egg topic, which is saving your presentation. Now, there's 2 or 3 ways that I would perhaps recommend saving a presentation, okay? Now, at the moment, this is the presentation I've just created, and I've saved this as a PowerPoint presentation. Now, a PowerPoint presentation is the default. And what happens when you open a PowerPoint presentation is if you open it like so, it opens up into the actual, effectively the design of the presentation. So if you turn up late to a presentation, everyone can see what you're going to talk about. So it kind of steals your thunder a little bit. Well, there's another way that you can save this presentation so it's a little bit more, should we say, suitable for when you are delivering the presentation. So if I show you here, very simple, File, if I go to Save As, now different versions of PowerPoint will have the Save As in different positions, but it's a very similar principle. Whichever version you're in, just go and find Save As. Now in the Save As screen here, can you see here the default is PowerPoint presentation, and that's what I've just shown you. It opens up to the design. But if I now drop this one down, instead go for PowerPoint Show, just here, PowerPoint Show. Now I'm going to save this onto my desktop, and I'm going to call this one, you know, Power, if I could spell it, that is, PowerPoint Show, just like so. And I'm going to hit Save. So I'm now going to close this down. Let me just go and get this PowerPoint Show. Just bear with me 1 second. Saved onto my other screen. Okay, let's just pull this over here. So there's my show that I've just saved. Now, here's where the difference comes in. Before, if I open the PowerPoint presentation, which was the file format before, it would go into my design. But if I open my PowerPoint Show, this goes straight into the presentation. So what this means is, rather than me having to open the presentation up and then go to slideshow and click from beginning, or you could use the shortcut F5, all I need to do is simply double click on the file, so PowerPoint Show, the one I saved as a PowerPoint Show, and it goes straight into that presentation. And what this does, it can give you a little bit more confidence, because if you're not that great with PowerPoint, or you're giving it to someone who's not that confident, they just know to double click on that file, and then all they need to do after that is they can click their mouse or use their arrow keys on their keyboard to move through the slides, and then it's just escape to come out. So it makes it a lot easier to start that presentation, and you also don't lose the impact of your presentation if you're a little bit late. Okay, so another way, so that was PowerPoint Show. That's really good if you want to make it so it just goes straight into the presentation. Another way we can save our presentation, so I'm just going to go back into the presentation I was in before. Now this is kind of like a get out of jail free card, effectively. So what I can do here is, with my presentation, is if I go to File, then click on to Save As, just here. Now in Save As, if I pop this out, can you see here the Save As type? In here, I've got a variety of different options, starting from GIF down to bitmap. Now these are all image formats. If I'm honest with you, probably the best one is the one there called JPEG. Pretty much any computer can display a JPEG. Well, the idea with this is, like I said, this is your get out of jail free card. I'm going to go for JPEG, JPEG, and I'm just, in fact, I'll leave it called what it is. I'm going to hit save on my desktop, and it will come up asking me, do I want to save all of the slides or just the individual one that I'm currently within? So I'm going to go every single slide. Comes up telling me that I've saved it onto my desktop. I'm going to click OK. So I'm just going to close this down so I can show you what's actually been saved. And I'm just going to go and grab the files that have just been created onto this screen so you can see it. So here's a folder. Can you see there, PowerPoint 30min-2? That's what I saved it as. I know, very snappy name, admittedly. But what it's done, if I double click into this folder, it's created, if you can see there, an image for every single slide. So this is not in PowerPoint now, this is just a picture. Now this is really good, because sometimes, in my experience, I've gone and delivered presentations and been sort of beholden to the equipment at the site where I'm going to deliver the presentation, and sometimes they might not have the same version of PowerPoint, or something goes wrong. Well, pretty much any device that's computer-based will be able to show you an image. Now, if I show you here, if I just double-click onto this, it's just opened up in Windows Photo Viewer, okay? So you're pretty much always going to be able to deliver your presentation, and some versions of Windows will actually be, allow you to kind of, can you see, go through each individual slide using like almost the next. And this can be a really good way of distributing your presentation to people after the show. So it's harder to rip off a presentation that's been sent to you as a picture rather than a presentation file. Also, anything like your speaker notes, they won't be in this. It's just an image. So really simple things, saving the file as a PowerPoint show or as a JPEG, but can be very, very helpful in my opinion. Okay, again, just to remind you, I'll send you a video with this and I'll send you an outline in the document. But the thing I'm going to show you next is we're going to have a little bit of a look at linking data from an Excel file into a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so if I show you here, I'm going to open this charts file. So this is an Excel file, and I've got a very simple set of data in here. Can you see list of information? And I've got, can you see a little graph there? Now I might want to put this into my presentation so that I can, I don't know, talk about KPIs or some kind of a meeting, etc., that we have on a weekly or a monthly basis. But usually what happens when you have to do this task is you have to copy and paste this into a presentation every month, and it's same thing over and over again for the next meeting. Well, what we can do is we can paste this into PowerPoint in such a way that if the graph changes or the data changes, it will change in our PowerPoint presentation. So it's effectively a live view. Well, I'm kind of lying a little bit of a porky pie there. It's not entirely live. It's live at the point you open the PowerPoint, but it's very good. Now I'm going to open a different, simpler version of this presentation to demonstrate this. So can you see I've got a presentation here which has got, you know, title, slide 1, slide 2, not as jazzy. I just don't want to sort of muddy the waters with too much stuff on the screen while I show you this. But this is so simple. Once you know it, it is so simple to use. So I want to put into slide 2 my data from my Excel file. So what I do, I grab over that data as I normally would and I copy it. However you want to copy it, you knock yourself out. Control-C, right-click, copy, whatever works for you. It is entirely up to you the way you do it. Now, after that, what we then do is we go into the PowerPoint presentation. We then, in the Home tab, pop down the arrow underneath Paste, and we go to this one here, can you see, called Paste Special. Now, Paste Special, when you click onto this, pops this screen up here. Now, down, this is the important thing to watch out for. What you've got to do to make sure you put this in as a link, you've got to go to this option here which says Paste Link on the left. And it comes up with one option here which says Microsoft Excel Worksheet Object. If you don't tick Paste Link, it will be static and it will not update. So what I do, I click OK, and what that has done, that has dropped the information from Excel into my PowerPoint slide. Fair enough, that's pretty good. But here's the power of this. If you watch now, I'm going to go to my Excel file and I'm going to change some information about my Excel file, and can you see it's changed? So look, as an example, I'm going to change Kendra. Let's just see if I can make this a little bit bigger in the PowerPoint presentation so we can see this a little bit better. So can you see I've got a person there called Kendra. I'm going to click into my Excel file and type my name in, Ben Woodthorpe. And as soon as I press enter in Excel, can you see it's updated in the PowerPoint presentation? Now it's exactly the same for the graph. So if I go to my graph in Excel, right click, copy on the graph, go to PowerPoint, pop the arrow down, paste special, paste link, that's the important thing. And then after that I click OK, there's my graph in my PowerPoint presentation. Now if you watch here, I'm going to go ahead and change one of my figures in Excel so it's very obviously different. And in fact I'll make it a much bigger figure so the graph completely changes. So it's both changed in Excel and also in PowerPoint. So the cool thing about this is once you've done this, it's set it and almost forget about it, because you know each month or each week you open this PowerPoint file, it's going to refresh this data. Now tiny bit more about this, watch here. I'm going to close this presentation down. I'm going to save it first of all, close it down, and I'm going to reopen this PowerPoint presentation. And what happens now, because I've put a link from an Excel file into this PowerPoint, it comes up with this. Basically a long-winded message saying, do you want to update the data? If I click update links, it's going to grab the latest figures from the Excel file that I dropped that data in from, and it's going to refresh all of this information in the PowerPoint presentation. So as soon as you open it, that's the data updated. So you're not having to go back and copy and paste all of your data back into a new version of this presentation. It's just a live view. And this can be very effective for lots of different reasons. Okay, so that is a smarter way of putting data from Excel into your PowerPoint presentation. I've got two more topics, so we're on the penultimate topic area. Second to last thing I'm going to show you is we're going to have a look at something called custom shows. Now I'll do this in the same presentation I've been in for the Excel. Now, very simple idea this. You can use something called custom shows, and it allows you to slice and dice this presentation into lots of mini presentations. So rather than you having to effectively copy and paste the presentation and delete slides that you don't want to see, if it's a different purpose you're doing this presentation for, we can use the same presentation and just pick to show, I don't know, slide 1 and 3, or 2 and 3, or just one on its own. So it means you can practice or keep different versions of presentations without having to have lots of separate files, and you end up with lots of version control issues when you do that. Well, it's very simple to use. What we do, slideshow at the top, and it's just this one here called custom show. Now what we do, we pop this one down, and then we go to this one here called custom shows. Custom shows will appear. Now I've not currently got any custom shows in this presentation, but on the right, can you see I've got a button there that says new? So I click new just here. And what it does, it comes up with a new screen over and above that. And at the top, I can name this custom show. So I'm going to call this one, I don't know, AM session. Let's say I'm doing a training session and I need a version of this presentation which is just talking about the stuff for the AM session. So in the AM session, I want the title. So I double click, and can you see it goes into the right? These are the slides that are going to be in this custom show, and I want to see slide 1. It puts it into the right. And here's a really cool thing I can do. If I double click my title again, can you see it repeats that particular slide into here, so that I can see the same slide more than once. So I mean, that's something that can be a bit of a pain in a normal presentation, having duplicates of the same slide. So I've got one called AM session now. If I click OK, so AM session is there. If I now go new again, I'm going to create one called PM session. Now PM session is, I want the title and I just want slide 2. Once I'm ready, let's just finish that off. Let's call it PM session for consistency. Once I'm ready, click OK. Can you see AM and PM? Now if I close this down, whenever you want to present either one of these custom shows, if you go to slideshow, custom show, can you see there's the AM and the PM? If I click onto AM, this is now giving me, if you see, the title slide, slide 1, repetition of the title slide, and then if I click again, can you see it comes out of the presentation? It hasn't put the second slide on there. But if I now go and do the PM session, there is the title slide, slide 2, and can you see it completely ignored slide 1? So it's only showing the bits that we actually put into that particular custom show, and it's cutting out all of the other stuff. It's ignoring it. Okay, very, very sort of simple idea, but can save a lot of issues with versioning, because one thing this does, if I go here, I'm just going to change, so I'm going to put this changed title. So I'm going to change my title of my presentation. Well, if I run the AM session, can you see the title is called change title? And if I run the PM session, can you see it's also called change title? So this is a very good way of keeping multiple presentations within the one, but any changes ripple through to all of those presentations. Okay, so we've got one last thing to show you. I'm afraid I'm going to run over a couple of moments because I know it's approaching past. If you bear with me, I won't take much longer. But one thing, last of all, I want to show you, and then I'll answer any questions that have come up, is we're going to talk about the Slide Master. Now, the Slide Master is probably the best part or the most important part of any PowerPoint presentation that you're going to want to use. And what this is, it's kind of like the engine that drives the entire presentation's format. So if we take my really boring presentation, let's say I want to put a logo into this presentation or some kind of change of appearance. Well, a lot of people would do something like this, and I'm going to use a shape. They would go to one slide, put the logo here, and then perhaps do a little bit of a copy and paste all the way through the presentation. Now, problem with that is it's very easy to muck this up, and can you see between these two slides, and I'll exaggerate this quite a bit, you can end up with inconsistencies, and it's very laborious to do this. It's a proper pain in the backside to do this. Now, the proper way to actually govern the appearance of your presentation is to use something called the Slide Master. Now, the Slide Master is a view within PowerPoint. So how we get into it? I go to View at the top, and I go to this one here called Slide Master. Click onto there. Now what this does, this brings up a new tab at the top called Slide Master, and this is the way you know you're in the Slide Master, because the first tab at the top is called Slide Master. Now I'm going to keep this very simple initially just for the purpose of this webinar, but how you edit this, go to the top slide just here, just at the top. This is effectively the master. This will govern the formatting for everything. You don't want to be changing any of the content for this. This is effectively a notional slide. This is what it's going to kind of look like. So the idea with this is you're going to change the formatting of this. So if I change this formatting for this heading, all of the slides in the presentation will get that formatting change. So if you see here, if I go to Home, I'm going to make that title bold, I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to make it underline. Now, also beneath all of these are different layouts. They all also inherit this master's formatting at the top. Now we're still in the Slide Master. If I click on the Slide Master tab, the Close Master View button, what this now does, it goes back to the presentation, and what you'll notice is, can you see every single slide gets that particular change? So this, can you see how much quicker this is to change stuff about your presentation? Here's another example. Let's say I want to change the type of bullet point that I'm using in all the slides. Well, instead of going to every single slide and changing the bullet point, I would go to View, I would go to Slide Master, I would click onto the top one just here, and I'm going to click onto the first bullet there, go to my Home tab, and I am going to go and find my bullets, and I am going to go for a tick instead of a full stop. If I then go back to Slide Master and then click Close Master View to come out of that, can you see every single slide now the bullet points are ticks rather than full stops, you know, the normal bullet point. One last example of the kind of thing we can do with this, and really I'm barely touching the surface of what's possible with this Slide Master, to be fair, but if I show you here, if I go back to View and click onto Slide Master here again, just for simplicity, click onto the one at the top, I'm now going to move the position of my title. I'm going to insert a shape, so this is going to be effectively my logo. Because it's a nice sunny day, we'll have a smiley face. Hope it's sunny where everyone else is. So there's my logo. So once I'm ready, if I now go Slide Master at the top, Close Master View, can you see every single slide gets the logo in exactly the same place? And can you see there's no issues with consistency? And how quick can we format that presentation with the Slide Master rather than going into every single individual slide? I mean, what a pain in the backside that would be. I mean, this is far easier. So if you want to change anything about the appearance of your presentation, View, Slide Master just here, click on the top and change in here. You can put backgrounds in, you can put pictures. I mean, if I show you the presentation that I was sort of talking to you about first of all, I mean, I've done a little bit more with this than I've shown you as a demonstration, but if I go to View and then go to Slide Master, I've set up different layouts, which is a tiny bit further on than what I've shown you, but all I've done there is I've put a background image in. I've changed, can you see the, if I zoom in a little bit, so there's the background image. I've put headings in, and can you see I've put my logo, I've put like a little thing where it shows you, you know, where we're on Facebook and Trustpilot, etc. And now every single time I create a slide, so if I go to come out of this and click New Slide, can you see it just follows that exact same format, no messing around? Okay, so look, let's have a little bit of a look to see if there's any questions, and I'll just give you a little bit of a recap. Let's have a quick look here. I've got one question. Right, can you save the custom slideshow in JPEG or show format? Right, okay, so going back to the custom shows that we were playing around with earlier on, someone's asked if we can, if we'll just go into this, if we can save these as effectively its own presentation. There's a way of doing it, but it's a little bit clunky. If I show you here, if I go to Setup Show, what you have to do, let me just very quickly create a custom show. So I'm just going to put in here a couple of little slides in here. If I now go to Setup Show and then go to the Show Slides, drop this one down and pick the custom show, and then if you save it as a PowerPoint show, that will then pick up the fact that it's the custom show rather than the whole shebang. Now there is also another way of doing this using a little bit of Visual Basic, which is programming, and you can get it to actually export all of your custom shows to separate PowerPoint presentations. I'm not sure about JPEGs, but it will definitely go to PowerPoint presentations. What I will do, I will include that little how-to in you know, the email that I'm going to send out to you all. It does take a little bit of playing around. It's not perfect, but it will achieve what you're talking about. But you can do it using Setup Show and then save it as a PowerPoint show, and that will come through. Okay, so I can't really see any other questions in there that are relevant to the PowerPoint. So just as a little recap, let me just put this back up. So we had a little bit of a look at some presenter tricks. We had a look at file formats, a bit of a better way of linking data into PowerPoint from Excel, and we sliced and diced with custom shows, and we had a very brief look at the Slide Master. Don't forget, if you you know, want any more help, we're there for you, and we can train on all of those other applications, Excel, PowerPoint, Word, etc. Please feel free to fill the feedback form in after this, and what we can then do from that is, one of the questions is there any other topics you want to go through? I'll be putting on other webinars, and I'll use that as a guide for other webinars that I put on. So look, thank you very much for attending. I appreciate your time. Have a really great day, and I hope to see you again on a future webinar. Take care.